Tech Sideline is presented by First Bank and Trust Company, the bank that puts you first. They can meet your banking and financing needs for personal, agricultural, business, commercial, mortgages, and so much more. Visit firstbank.com to learn more.
What's up, Hokie Nation? And welcome into episode 468 of the Tech Sideline podcast. Virginia Tech softball's 2026 season is right around the corner. So who better to bring on than the head coach of the Hokies, Pete DeMore, joining us on set for episode 468 of the Tech Sideline podcast, which starts right now. And welcome back to episode 468 of the Tech Sideline podcast, presented by Lunch Pail Ventures. We record on Monday, February 2nd, 2026 from the Tech Solutions studio in the Virginia Tech Corporate Research Center. I'm your host, Carter Hill. To my left, making his Tech Sideline podcast news set debut, the Virginia Tech softball beat writer, Sam Mostow. Behind the scenes is our director of media, Nick Brown. And across the way is our honorary guest for the third time on the TSL podcast, the head coach of the Virginia Tech Hokies, the pride of Monrovia, Maryland, eighth-year head coach, Pete DeMore. What's up, Coach? How are you?
Doing awesome. Thanks for not saying Yosemite Sam is in the chair today. You probably don't even know who that is, but the mustache kind of gives it away.
I was going to start with that. The mustache. Can we start right there? What went into that decision? It looks awesome, by the way. I love it.
Yeah, my wife doesn't think so.
Okay.
Kind of laziness. I started in November, and I can't grow my mullet out anymore. So just be unique and let's grow a mustache. So we'll see how long it lasts.
Have you tried the mullet recently?
No.
Okay.
No, not for about 20 years.
Okay.
So it's all good.
Speaking of your time as a head coach, 8 years now at Virginia Tech, 10 as a whole. Is that kind of crazy to wrap your head around, do you think?
Yeah, it flies by. It really does. What do you think about when I got here? It feels like I got here yesterday. And this is almost my 20th year of coaching overall. And I'm like, man, I'm too young for that. But that's just the way life is. It just it goes by fast, and enjoy it every day.
Speaking of going by fast, the offseason's about to wrap up. First game in South Carolina on Thursday. How was the offseason for you, and what have the last few months been like for you leading Virginia Tech softball?
Productive for us. It started in August, and we did a few different things this year. As far as our 8-hour weeks, we did more strength conditioning and less softball for about a month. Just get our players acclimated to the weight room and get stronger. And so had a little bit less of individual time, less of team time, but I think it paid off. We're in a good spot as far as athletically and strength-wise. So the scariest part of any season, I've probably said this forever, is the break we have between Thanksgiving and a little bit after New Year's, because we don't see our players at all. And so you could sit there and you're saying, well, all the work that we did in the fall could just go away if you don't do anything over that break. And thankfully, they all came back in great shape and swinging the bats well and pitching well. So we got after it. January 9th was our first team practice, and we were fortunate to be outside probably 4 or 5 times, get a lot of reps out there. We haven't been outside for about 2 weeks. And so, but I think we're ready. We're swinging the bats well. We're pitching well. It's hard to tell about defense. We'll be fine, but it's hard to get live reps in our indoor. But from what I've seen so far, we're in a good spot.
I was going to say, how do you navigate that with the weather the last couple of weeks? I know you guys have one of the best indoors in the country, but it is hard to replicate what it would look like in an in-game situation, obviously.
We can't. You don't want to have monotony in there. You don't want to just do the same thing over and over because the kids get bored. And you don't want to be in there. So you try to keep it fast-paced, try to get in and out. You could theoretically go 3 hours. Maybe we might go 2 at max. So you really tell the players when we hit live in there, we have a lot of stations, but there's live and we have a simulator. You have to lock in on those. The rest of it, get good reps, but you have to lock in live, and you have to the live at bats against our simulator. And they do a great job with that. And if I see that they are doing what they're supposed to do and they get good at bats and good reps, we're done. So we're not a team that says, well, we got 3 hours to be in here, let's do all 3 hours. No, yeah. If you get in and you get your work in an hour and a half, we're good to go. So it's a challenge to have 25 players in your indoor facility and keep them all busy at the same time. Just hard to do, but we're able to do it.
All right, looking at this year's team a little bit, obviously you lose Emma Lemley and Corey McMillan and Bree Peck, all of whom are now playing professional softball. We have this conversation every year, but every year you graduate a group of seniors and you say the next batch are going to step up, and then they do. But what makes you feel the same about that team this year?
It's just what we do. We make players better, and they bide their time for when it's their time. And you look at returners, and I'm obviously you look at seniors, but you look at sophomores as well. They're all better. They're all better. So you look at Corey, her first fall here, and what she ended up being at the end. And so you hope that's the model for all your players. And so you sit there and you look at practice and you look at the metrics that we have, and you see every one of our players has gotten better. Now, does that mean they're Corey or Peck or they're Lemley? I don't know. They could be. They've all given themselves a chance to do that and get better and earn playing time by the work they're putting in. So you miss those three, obviously. You miss everybody that graduates, but next person up, and that's kind of what our mantra is.
How do you view your pitching staff right now as a whole? I know it's early in the season. Obviously, you guys start up this weekend, but you have Maz back, Sophie Kleiman, Cassie Grizzly, who gave you guys some good innings last year as well. How do you view the pitching staff right now as a whole?
Yeah, I'm pleased so far for what we've been seeing. We have 6 options, and not to venture off too far down a rabbit hole, so to speak, but after every year, I do a comprehensive scope of our program. What's one big thing that we can do, that I can do better that helps the team? And so you look back, and it could be hitting for more power, or the analytics side of it, or movement screens. You know, all these things we've done in the past after seasons, and I really didn't have one for coming up this season after last season. And I read a couple books. One was analytics on baseball from the history of major leagues. And the other one was just managers in general on what their role is in the big leagues now. And so the one thing that stood out to me was in the analytics book, you go back to the start of baseball when rules were being established. It's the 1840s. That's when baseball started. And the goal of a starting pitcher back then was to let the other team hit the ball. So for years we have said, all right, starting pitcher, it's based on let him hit it. Now it's morphed, and now you have relievers and you have closers and all those things. But it really got me thinking, it doesn't matter who starts, who finishes, who comes in, as long as it's in the right order. And so you go back to the manager book that I read, and the thesis of that was, what is the main goal of a major league manager right now in game? What do they do? They manage the bullpen. So if you're starting and you're a Cy Young winner, I'm going to say, Carter, here's the ball, give me 9. Doesn't happen. Yeah. Does not happen. And so that's what I've been kicking around is matchups. And does this one go innings 1 through 3 times through the lineup, or 1 time through the lineup? Well, that's 3 innings. So now we're going 4 innings to try to win. Who's the next one up? So we have a lot of different options right now. And the cool thing for me is I don't have to say, well, Maz, here's the ball, give me 7. She could. All of our kids could. But now do we have enough information to say who's the best one after that? And so that's a cool thing we've been working on, and I'm excited to try it. That was a long.
No, that was great. Yeah. That was great.
I want to build off that a little bit. Obviously, a Major League Baseball manager and a college softball head coach are different jobs, but are they more similar than one might think? I know obviously there's different elements. I know there's fundraising aspects to this that might not exist in a Major League Baseball role. Yeah, but from an in-game standpoint, are the jobs more similar than one would think at first glance?
I would think so. You're always you're looking ahead. So next inning, this kid's coming up, and do you want to pinch hit for this kid, or do you want another pitcher to face that kid? It's always looking ahead. The thing with bullpen management, it's not been as prevalent in softball. It's just like nobody really thinks about that. Now, there are teams in the country that do, and it's just something I would like to get better at. I just never really had to do it before. You know, Lem, here's the ball, and Sophie, here's the ball. Now you have 6 pitchers that are 6 different looks. Can we mix and match the shortened games? So I think I think in one aspect of baseball and softball that's different is you could pinch hit. Sam, you're not hitting today. Pinch hit, you go back in. The substitution rules way different. So that's a big one. Have defensive replacements. The offense can come back in. There's a lot more, I think, to be thought about in softball than maybe baseball because the reentry rule.
Yeah. How much can that benefit you guys, do you think? The element of surprise, you think, this year? Especially early on where, South Carolina is not going to have a full scout on you guys because you guys haven't played, obviously, this season. But how much of a benefit can that be to you guys when you can mix and match the way you just described and the unpredictability of all of it as well?
Yeah, it could be a benefit. It could be something that we just scrap. Who knows? But I think a coach always talks about going with his gut. And gut feels are based on experience that you have. Now, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. You remember Maya goes in for a pinch hit a couple years ago, grand slam.
Yeah.
That was a gut feel. I didn't have any that was my eyes telling me that Maya could probably hit this. And then a week later, I send another hitter in for a pinch hitter. She pinch hit and she strikes out. Well, my gut told me that this was a good matchup. It just didn't work out, but I like to have verifiable data to make my decisions on.
Yeah.
And does that mean I'm going to use it all? No. But it's like, okay, my gut says this, the paper says that. Is my gut right? I don't know. So it's just more information. I think there's a knock on analytics, the word right now, that everybody's beholden to it. To me, it's information that makes you make better decisions. Do you use it or not? That's up to you.
How do you build the confidence so you have some data that tells you X, Y, and Z, that maybe this hitter is good in this situation, and sometimes if you go against that, what gives you the feel to do that? Is it just having watched so much softball over the years that you just kind of know what you're looking for? Is it knowing your players? Is it just kind of a mix of all of it? Is it just you think it's the right move and you go for it?
Yeah, it's a mix of all of it. We track a lot of stats in our practice, in-game practice, and so there's certain benchmarks that we try to see, and we got a lot of data from the fall. And so if a kid's swinging 65 miles an hour, and when she hits the ball, it's going to be hit hard. And so, but gut-wise, you just never know. I mean, every decision that a coach makes, and this is in every sport, it's not just off the fly. It might look like that, but you have reasons for why you do it.
Sure.
So hopefully if you see more information, your decisions are more based on valid stats and data.
You look at you guys offensively, obviously you bring back quite a young core as well with Michelle Chatfield, Jordan Lynch, Kylie Aldridge has had a really good career at Virginia Tech, Zoe Yeager, and Rachel Castine comes back for a 5th year. But somebody you guys seem super high on is, not to put expectations on her, I know you don't love to do that specifically, but Addie Foster coming in from Stetson is somebody you guys seem to be super, super high on. Yeah. Why do you think that's the case, and what type of role is she going to play for you guys in 2026?
She has great at-bats, so she has experience. I think she was all conference last year, and I think the ASUN, which is a decent league, and but just tough, hard-nosed kid, doesn't strike out a lot, puts ball in play, grinds out at-bats. It just seems like in the fall she's always on base, and has speed, has power, but like I said, she's on base a lot, and that's a big deal. So you get on base, I don't care if it's a single, double, whatever it is, set the table for a 2-run homer. And so, she's had a great fall. She's fit in well with everybody, and playing her in center right now, she's probably going to roam the outfield, but we'll see. We'll see what happens on Thursday.
And she was in the infield at Stetson?
She was.
Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Sam, go ahead.
Adding Haley Luganbill from UMBC and Bree Warren from South Carolina and Texas A&M. What did you like about those 2 transfer ads?
Well, I think the first thing that stood out was power potential. And we lost 50 homers last year. So that was the first one, especially with Haley. She had 10 or 12 homers last year. She's probably had 20 in her career. So power potential with her, in-state kid that wanted to be here. So that was a big deal for me. Bree Warren is just a physical specimen, left-handed hitter, about 6'1", swings really hard, can play the outfield. So just what we needed, we had pretty much 3 outfielders coming back, just add depth for the outfield, and that's what the purpose with Bree was.
We mentioned Michelle and Jordan and Kylie, and all 3 of those are in different stages of their careers. But where have you seen each of them grow this past offseason, do you think?
I think it's just knowing what their expectations are. Big one just on the field is hunting pitches, just having an approach at the plate, which they do a good job with. But that's the difference between a freshman and a junior is, am I okay taking a certain pitch in an at-bat, early in an at-bat, to wait for one I can crush? And then with 2 strikes, just put it in play. But can we be more selective? But as far as those 3, I mean, they work their tails off.
Yeah.
Their work ethic has never gone away. And so when you work hard in our program, you're going to get better. And all 3 of them have.
How do you view your outfield situation right now? You graduated Corey and Trinity Martin, returning Lila Blackwell. You mentioned Addie Foster could get some playing time in the outfield. Nora Abramovich too. Yep. Not asking you to name your lineup here, but how do you view your outfield situation as a whole?
I think we have a lot of options, and not to get back on the analytical parts, but there are some people in the Virginia Tech athletic department, statisticians, that are, lack of a better term, they're geniuses.
Yeah.
And so we've been talking to this group, and they came to us. There's certain things I wanted, but they came up with another one as far as defensive replacements. When, as a coach, should you put a better defense in the lineup? And so theoretically, in years past, you go with the gut. So it's 6-0 in the 6th. All right, put your defense in. And they come up with a table that says, okay, you're up 5 in the 4th. Put your defense in. Put your defense in, because the value of getting 1 run is not as big as them getting a run. If I said that right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we might have a lot of different, you go for offense early, you get 6 or 7 runs. Okay, defenders go out. We have a lot of great outfield defenders. And so it might be interchanging, and it goes back to, I can bring the offense back in.
Substitution. Yeah.
You know, so things like that, it might look a little bit different, where maybe a kid is not playing in the 1st inning, but be ready the 4th, and you might still get your at-bats because we're playing for defense. So that's a long-winded answer. We have a lot of options in the outfield. We have some kids that are really swinging the bat well right now. We have some really plus defenders that might be not swinging to their potential, but they're still going to play. So, we just have a lot of interchangeable pieces.
And as you know, the value of keeping it a 5-run game, just from a stress standpoint versus a 2-run game late in the game. Like, let's say you're playing Florida State on a Friday afternoon.
Yep.
You're at 5 runs in the 4th inning versus a 2-run game. That can affect the rest of the weekend, as you know. So when did you, obviously we've done a lot of podcasts together. When did you adopt a lot of this stuff? Because I've heard you talk about analytics before, but not in the detail that you are right now.
It's been more detailed this year.
Okay.
It's been more in the past, as the analytics has been performance-based. And so how can we get our average exit velocity a certain level so we hit balls hard? Or, range for a defender. Is your shuttle time this? And if it is, you can play short, you can play second, or if it's not that, you can play left. But now it's more in-game strategy. And like I said, I never want to go into a game and I'm sitting there on Sunday and we're 0-2 on the weekend. And I sit there and I'm like, man, I have no idea who to start. Well, now I'm like, okay, I have an idea of a starting spot now. Yeah. Based on how this kid is going to perform against this team, theoretically. Does it mean I'm going to do it? No, but at least we have some idea where to start.
Hi, this is Bud Foster. I want to tell you about something I'm really proud to be a part of, Lunch Pail Ventures. It's a community built by Hokies for Hokies, bringing together alumni, investors, and business owners who believe in building something bigger. Lunch Pail Ventures creates access to private investment opportunities and connects a growing network of Hokie entrepreneurs. It's all rooted in the lunch pail mindset: hard work, teamwork, and giving back through investing, events, and community. If that sounds like you, learn more and join us at lunchpailventures.com. And go Hokies.
What are your overall thoughts on the schedule? Start with, I believe, 4 weekends on the road, then the Salem Invitational, then the ACC slate. Home series against Clemson, heading this week to South Carolina against top 15 South Carolina team, and Binghamton, which made the tournament last year. What do you think of the teams you scheduled and the teams you're going to play?
It's good balance. The first thing I got to think about is cleaning my suitcase out. We're going to be on the road a lot.
Just make sure to bring it with you this time.
Yeah, good one. Man, that was it's unfortunately, we can't bank on staying and playing at our park early in the season. We just can't. And we also have to throw in the RPI component, although from last year, I don't know how important that is anymore. That's my dig. But you have to put yourself in a position to play good teams early on. You just have to. So the joke is we're like the 14th SEC team this year.
Yeah.
We go and play those teams because they're going to have good RPIs at the end of the year. So, The idea with early in the season is every game matters. And I told the players this on Saturday. You look back on going to Alabama last year. Did we go to Alabama because we ended the season kind of low? No, that's not it. We went to Alabama because there's plays or certain games we didn't take care of business in February and March and April. Maybe 3 games. And that's 3 losses at the end of the year. Now you're sent to Alabama instead of hosting.
Yeah.
So for us, we're going to South Carolina. We have to take care of business every single game. We don't have time to say, well, this team we should smoke. No, you can't do that. You have to win. Put your best 9 out.
I'm sorry, I had to get the suitcase joke in
No,
there. It was on a
good.
tee at that point.
It was good. Yeah,
it was on a tee.
You teed it up.
Yo, when you guys went to Alabama, I remember, I think the story was it was never supposed to get out, but it did in a production meeting.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, we're not down there. I remember, I think Nick and I were in here watching one of the Alabama games, and you're talking, the broadcast team's awesome, by the way, but every single inning, it's like, he bought those shorts and that T-shirt from Walmart across the street. So the ACC, we were looking at some stuff the other day, is instituting a PitchCom rule. Is that a fair way to categorize it? Have you guys used PitchCom before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the rule now in place?
It's fine. I think the big difference is offenses can use it now.
Okay.
So our signal system has never been the hardest to figure out. I think for our players now, there's indicators and all that stuff. Other teams can't figure it out, but it's been a challenge for our players to know the signs. And now it's on the wristband. So I go, and okay, this is what the play is on. They can see it. So for offense, it's awesome. I love it. So
no more signs then?
No, not really.
Okay.
There are certain ones. PitchCom gives you the ability to have, I think, 8 or 9 signals.
Okay.
And so if you have more than that, then you have to do something else. But as far as the basic 9, when are you going to steal, when are you going to run and hit, when are you going to do bunts, when are you going to do all that kind of stuff, you can have that on the wristband.
Also added, I believe, TrackMan technology to the park. Do you have it in the indoor before? Or is it?
No, we had hit tracks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Different stuff. How exactly does the TrackMan system work, and how will it change what you guys do?
I think the main part right now, we've had it since the end of fall, is it shows a bunch of on-field statistics. So spin rate from the pitcher, velocity, strike zone, exit velocity, launch angle, which I don't talk about much. As far as what I've seen so far, we have a benchmark of when we hit. So we're on the field and we do a scrimmage that says everybody hits through this lineup with a 2-1 count. So we go back pretty quick. But if you hit it above a certain mile an hour, regardless of where it goes, you get to hit again. So what I've seen is you hit a ball, let's say 75 miles an hour at the shortstop, and she makes a play. She gets to hit again because you smoked it. You don't have any control of where the ball goes or what happens. but that's 75 miles an hour. On average, you're going to get through a lot.
Yeah.
So the intent of our swings has gotten way better. And also our swing decisions have gotten better. Because if you get a pitch and you don't think you can hit it X amount of miles an hour, you're going to take it and wait for one that you can. So it's been awesome just for intent for our players.
Can you allow me to put my journalistic cap on just a minute and ask you some upper echelon questions?
Yeah. Uh-oh.
No, so obviously, just talking about Virginia Tech as a whole, obviously one of the big things this past fall, and was talked about a lot because of the football search, was the budget increase.
Yep.
How does that affect Virginia Tech softball, and have you already seen that kind of trickle down to your program as it is right now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're taken care of.
Okay.
And
all right.
I think all of our sports are. And just from our perspective, man, let Franklin cook, man. Let him do his thing. Yeah, go win a bunch of football games, go to the playoffs, and we all get better, you know? So it's that's my Gen, what is it, Gen X now or whatever?
Gen X, yeah.
Yeah, let him cook. Maybe the first time I've ever said that, but I saw a tweet something to let him cook and they go get it.
Can we clip that? We got to clip that,
Yeah,
right? Let Franklin cook.
Let him cook, man.
When the Hokies go 9-3, 10-2 next year after every win, you're going to see Pete DeMore on Twitter saying, "Let Franklin cook."
Yeah, let him alone. Yeah,
Let him cook.
But that's the cool thing about our athletic department is all of our sports are well taken care of. So you know, there are no bigger fans of football than us. They drive the ship, and so yeah, let them cook.
Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook.
Adding on to that a little bit with another like upper echelon journalism question here. So July 1st, the House settlement went into effect. It means schools can pay somewhere around $20.5 million for revenue sharing with their athletes. I know that's a very simplistic view of it, but I know it's more complicated than that. But have you seen that impact softball at all? And I know there are other sports adding general managers. Is that something you've considered at all? Does that change how you do roster management, approach the portal, recruiting, anything in that realm?
I think the big one is roster limits. And so we have to be at 25 by December 1st. So as far as roster limits go, that's been a big deal for us. Now 25 is a lot for softball. But I always like, if this kid is a walk-on and she wants to come here and be the 28th, I've always taken that kid because you never know.
Yeah.
And now you're like, I don't know if you can take that kid because we got 25 on the roster. And I don't like cutting kids. Eventually, we're going to have to. So you have players that have been here for a couple of years and we're at 27. By December 1st, it's not my rules. I got to be at 25.
Yeah.
As far as what I'm hearing around the country, some are getting rev share, not a lot. Some schools, and so rev share, I can give you this, I can give you that. It doesn't have to go through the clearinghouse. Our philosophy for right now is, what is the value of the Virginia Tech degree? On average, what are you making when you come out of here? And it's like top 15% in the country. So you come out of here and you're making $25,000 more than this big time softball school in the Midwest. Times that by 40 years you're going to work, there's where you're making your money.
Yeah.
You know, that's, now are we going to get to the point where everybody's on NIL and all this? Maybe, I don't know, but know what the value of this degree is. Because if I give you 15 grand, which is probably going rate for somebody in, you know, for softball, that 15 grand seems like a lot to you when you're 18 years old. And it's a lot of money, but you're going to make 25,000 more when you come out of here with your degree. So that 15 grand, when you're 18 years old, you're making it up at the end with the degree that you have. I don't know if I explained that well enough.
No, that was
Yeah,
great.
it makes
You know,
total sense.
Go ahead.
I just think the degree part of how great Virginia Tech's network is, alumni network, you're going to get a good job when you come out of here. I understand you want your bag right now. Is it really worth leaving or going somewhere else, knowing that at the end of the tunnel or the end of the line, when you have that degree, man, it's worth a lot of money.
You've obviously been in the industry for a while. We mentioned 10 years now as a head coach. From your view right now, how many programs, if you had to guess, around the country are significantly impacted by NIL and rev sharing in college softball right now?
10 to 15.
10 to 15.
Yeah,
okay.
that are big time.
Sure.
You know,
Can compete to win a national championship from a financial standpoint.
and we can.
Yeah, no,
but,
100%.
It just, I don't think it's as much as people think. And we had camp a couple of weeks ago. We got kind of the similar question. And I said, before you ask any of these questions, don't base any of these questions on what you're hearing about football and basketball.
Yeah.
Don't. You know, because that's just a different beast. They're over here. Softball's over here.
Which is fine,
Yeah.
too. And
Oh,
I
yeah.
think-
Yeah. So, because you get the $1 million quarterback and you see Nigel Kennedy.
Yeah.
Well, that's one. How many quarterbacks are getting $1 million? Probably a lot of them, you know? So, don't base that on what you hear about football and basketball.
Sure. Ready for some fun questions?
Let's do it.
Let's get right into it. I was gonna start with your mustache, but since you mentioned James Franklin, have you had any interactions with Coach Franklin yet?
No, I haven't. The only thing, and I haven't met him yet. I saw him in the dining hall, but everything I've heard is been a plus. I did text Coach Pry and just said, "Hey man, it's awesome you're coming back. I love that guy." So
nice.
You know, he loves Tech, and I'm just glad he's still around.
It is a cool story. All right, to your mustache. Have you tried any styling tactics with it so far?
Not long enough yet.
Okay.
Not long enough. I do like trim it around my my lip. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
just gotta keep it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to be like Brushy Bill, and so no styling yet.
Okay. All right. What you got, Sam?
We heard through the rumor mill you've got a golf simulator in the basement now.
Yeah.
What's that like? How are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's awesome. It runs on it's like a stick with a handle on it and a ball at the end and a sensor on the club handle. And you don't hit balls, but there's the TV and you swing it and it's pretty accurate. And you can play 38,000 courses, I believe. So
38,000?
Yeah, it's cool. It's just, and a lot of them, like the river course, it doesn't, the surroundings don't look the same, but I mean, like hole number 2, there's the lake and you know, stuff like that. But it's fun just to go out and swing the club. And my son's getting into it a little bit. For some reason, when he hits, he wants to swing it like a baseball bat. So we can't register the metrics for him.
Nick's birthday's next week, by the way.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Okay.
Yeah. Golf simulator, maybe. Yeah. Golf simulator. So yeah, no, okay, but that's okay. That's okay. It'll.
It was only, and I'm cheap, Nick. So it was $300, you know. And I'm like, okay, I can do that.
Nick, you can do that. You can do that.
We can set it up in here.
You can do that. You don't have kids
We'll start a
We don't need a
GoFundMe.
podcast
Start a GoFundMe for Nick on the podcast. I love that. You mentioned your son. What is Roe's opinion on the snow?
He loves it.
Okay.
So we went out. I think we had snow early December, and he didn't have a lot of snow clothes. So Santa brought him some coveralls and some boots and gloves and sleds. So when the snow came, he was ready to roll. And so we went out last night, and as you know, it's all ice.
Yes.
So my 46-year-old body is not equipped for that now.
Well, that's okay.
We went down probably 15 times down the hill, and I fell a couple times. There's no video evidence of it, but it's fun. He likes going, and when he's at the top of the hill and it's all ice, I'm glad my wife's not watching, because I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, I hope he does not fall.
You got that daredevil in you, though.
Oh
too,
yeah, I do.
okay.
I do. And I think he's got it too. He fell a couple times last night, got right back up, and no injuries so far.
Any good sledding spots in the area?
Oh, I would think the best one is by the rec field.
Oh, on campus
Yeah,
at Tech?
yeah.
Yeah, that would be a good
I
spot.
would think that would be awesome. You just can't go into the street.
No, I would not want to see that happen. So as a fan, I'm not asking you as a coach, as a softball/baseball fan, would you prefer a pitching duel or a slugfest, do you think?
Good question. As a fan, probably offense.
Okay.
See balls leaving the yard. As a coach, a pitching duel for us, throwing a 0 and us scoring 10. But yeah, it happens sometimes. Those are easy games.
So have you been to Rally House yet? It's the new store
I
across
have.
from Cabo.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have all this is totally off script. They have all this branded merchandise, like you mentioned, like the James Franklin stuff. They have a shirt, and forgive me, that says LFG, Let's Franklin Go.
Yep.
Okay, so they have like a hammer time thing for baseball. I think I'm gonna walk in there at some point over the course of softball season.
Yeah.
We need to get a gobble gobble shirt.
Oh,
in
that'd
there.
be awesome. Yeah.
Can we get a gobble? Like, would you be okay with that? Getting a
I'd be
gobble
fine
gobble
with it,
shirt?
yeah,
So
absolutely.
gobble gobble shirts for everybody to show up to TSP and rock on.
Yeah.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Get some NIL out of it.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. NIL for Coach DeMore. There's some golf simulator.
There
money
we go.
then, I guess.
Right to Nick.
Right to Nick. Coach, really appreciate your time as always. Hokies kickstart their season this weekend in Columbia. What's the weather supposed to look like down there, by the way?
50s, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
not bad.
doable.
Hokies in top 15 South Carolina on Thursday, and then Binghamton on Friday, and rest of the weekend of softball. So, Coach, really appreciate your time as always. Thanks for swinging by. I'm glad you could see the new studio. And
That's great.
look forward to chatting the rest of the season. I'm sure there'll be plenty of time to talk, so we appreciate it.
Thanks, boys.
Head Coach Pete DeMore, Sam Mostow, Danny Fluchensky, the wonderful SD behind the scenes, Nick Brown, I'm Carter Hill saying so long from episode 468 of the Tech Sideline podcast presented by Lunch Pail Ventures. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll talk to you very soon.